Hey, smooth-skinned gals and guys, welcome back. I'm the pre-war ghoul behind Armoured Brownies, and this is my latest time-lapse sculpt. Now, as usual, this is something a little different than last time, and not just the new voice. I mean, that's mostly here because I'm actually quite ill at the moment, and my voice is kind of really raspy and a bit shot at the moment, so I thought it would be fun and interesting. But here we have my sculpt from the weekend. This was a sculpt that I started and finished all in one live stream. Yeah, I live stream now. You should be subscribed to my channel. And those of you who came to this YouTube channel from my Twitch TV channel, welcome. Now, I started the stream not really knowing what I was going to sculpt, but all the lovely humans in the chat room decided to give me suggestions, and the one that I really liked, because I'm currently playing through Fallout 4, was actually a ghoul. So I went and grabbed the best ghoul I could find, which was of course Hancock. He's the only one whose name I remembered, and then used him as a reference image. Though this doesn't really want to be a sculpt exactly of Hancock, I kind of want it to be a bit more generic ghouly, but he is the most recognisable one I could think of, and so he's the one I sculpted. Now, there are a few interesting things I had to do for this guy. The biggest thing is the fact that all ghouls are missing their soft tissue, so they're missing the front of their nose, which is all cartilage and like soft tissue. So I had to figure out how I was going to build the nose out and then chop it off to make it look like the nose wasn't there. So I had to build the nose, the brow of the eyebrows, sort of bring the whole face forwards, which should actually help with the beady eye effect that the ghouls have. Another thing that was a bit awkward were the lips, trying to get the lips to blend in nicely. Thankfully, most ghouls don't really have lips. They've been burnt off by the war. And the ears are all a bit melty. Whilst I was sort of going through this, I experimented over and over again with different types of burn and scarring and sort of just skin texture, and I found using a kind of quite narrow but long scooped sculpting tool, using the back of it and kind of going along, just dabbing all the way along, get a nice texture all the way along. Whilst the clay was quite wet, it would pull out little spikes and put in little dents, and then once it dried a little bit, I washed over it with my fingers, and it flattens it all out and gives a really nice burned flesh effect, a very burned, scarred effect, where skin has burnt, kind of slightly melted, and then healed again. That's exactly what you want on a sort of radiation zombie, which are what ghouls basically are. And then a lot of the actual extra fun details, the actual really fun bits rather than the tedious bits of adding texture to the entire thing, were added by building out the cheekbones, building out under and over the eyes, which allows you to dig out from under them to pronounce the cheekbones to make it look a bit more sunken and callow. You've got to remember that when you are sculpting, it is much harder to sculpt things that aren't there, because you've got to build it up and then take away. But you've got to do that in such a way that you're building it outwards in a natural way. So you've got to keep everything else on the face to the same level of anatomy. And I was explaining all of this as I was going along on the stream and kind of learning it as I went, because this is kind of a new there's nothing new on this mask, I have to say. There's nothing that new apart from this skin texture and apart from doing the nose like that, but that's just a new sculpting challenge, and I had a good reference image in Hancock. Just a case of just going through and grinding it out. One of the good things about a creature like us is that we're all unique, and therefore all of our flesh is burned in different ways. Nothing is symmetrical, therefore you don't need to bother with any of that symmetry rubbish. And then we got to something that we were quite happy with. Kind of tried to make some of the long sinuous bits on the sides, around the sides of the nose, a bit smoother to make them look like big contiguous pieces of flesh, and made sure the whole forehead area was nice and mottled. There's quite a nice scar effect that you can get by slashing across the skin and then going over it lightly, and going over it like with the back of the sort of spooned sculpting tool, in the same way that I was doing to actually get the flesh effect on the skin. So I was thrilled with the fact that I managed to get this one sculpt done in a single sitting. This was about 4 hours worth of time, all on stream, all talking to people whilst I was doing it, so I was kind of distracted. It was nice, it was fun. You should totally come and join me next time I do it. If not, just wait for it to show up on this YouTube channel. And thanks for joining me, Smooth Skin. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.